Yo, what is going on, guys, and welcome to a new video. And today we're going to be talking about tips and tricks for solo queue players. So I've been playing this game for 3.5 years, and I think I have over 1,500 hours on this game. So I obviously don't always play with a team, and in most of my videos I pretty much solo queue. And I'm not even gonna lie, solo queuing is a gamble. Like, you're either gonna have to have good teammates, which is very random. Like, you might just get the worst teammates ever, which is most likely the case. So without wasting any more of your time, let's get right into the first tip. But before we do that, I actually added one question at the end of the video for you guys to answer. So be sure to listen very carefully, and you guys will have no problem answering that question. So good luck. Alright, so the first tip has to do with operator selection. So I'm gonna be telling you guys what operators to use. Obviously, they're all good. I'm not even gonna lie. All of these operators are good, but there are obviously some operators that are better with teamwork and with the full squad, because you really need communication with those operators to be, to be successful, to be honest. And for solo queuing, you need to go more for frags and have that certain mentality that you guys need to drop kills for you guys to win, which is most of the time not the case if you guys are on a full team. Obviously you need to drop kills, but communication is way more important than, fragging out. So for the operators, I'll just be telling you guys the operators that I will not recommend using, just because they need a full squad to maximize their gadgets, ability, or whatever you want to call it. Just to make the best out of that operator, you need a full squad. So I'll just be telling you guys the operators that I wouldn't recommend. And yeah, let's get right into it. The first operator I would most likely not recommend is Montaigne. I won't go into detail. Obviously, it's a shield. You don't really want to play shield and be a 3-speed when you're solo queuing. On the other hand, Blitz is a pretty good operator. He's always good to use, so don't be fooled by the shields. Only Monty is not good to use, in my opinion, if you want to play shield. Then we go into the next operator that I will not recommend. It's most likely Ying, because with Ying, you really need a team that drones out for you, and so you can flash them, push in. So I would not recommend playing Ying because you don't really have the communication. Capital would also most likely be the case, because once you drone out a person, they most likely will move away from that spot, so your arrows are kinda useless. For the next operator that I would not recommend is probably Gridlock, just because she's a 3-speed and you don't want to run around with a 3-speed. It's kinda obvious. You want to be fast, you want to be agile with operators, so you guys can get those frags. So let's go over to the defenders. So for the defenders, who would I not recommend? I mean, they're all pretty much good. One operator that I would not recommend is probably Echo. Maestro is fine. Okay, so Echo, so I would not recommend Echo, is just because you're always sitting in cams, and when you're sitting in cams, you want to give call outs, and if you don't have, if you never know, sometimes the people that you're playing with are in the party and they don't even hear you when you're talking in game chat. So there's really no point of playing an operator that will give you a lot of intel. Especially Echo, since he's a 3-speed, you can't really roam around, you can't really make those really hard-hitting plays. On the other hand, Valkyrie is a very good option, just because you can roam around with her, you can throw the cams outside, you can make cheeky runouts, you can do all of that stuff that will really annoy other players. Anyways, Maestro is probably also an operator that I would not recommend, but again, he's still very good, because you can not only sit in your cams, because he has a very good gun, and with your cams you can actually annoy people with zapping them. You can even get rid of thermite charges, Hibana charges, and all that stuff. So I would recommend Maestro as a solo queue operator, but he's obviously not the best one. Clash is also an operator that I would 100% not recommend, because you don't want to be playing a shield on defense when you're solo queuing, just because when you're covering one door, some guy might be behind you, because when you're covering a door, there's most likely another door that has an angle on that door, if that makes any sense. So you don't want to be playing, covering doors with your shield or anything like that, because you will be too confident. Like, you have a shield in front of your face, you're gonna feel invincible, and then you're just gonna get shot in the back. It has happened so many times. I'd 100% not recommend playing Clash when you are solo queuing. So I bet you guys do want to know what my favorite operators are to, for attacking and defending. So I would probably say Ashe, Sledge for attackers, just because they're agile, you can do your own things with them. And on defense, most likely Jaeger, Bandit, and Valkyrie, because you can get they have very good guns. Valkyrie not so much, but you can really do those runouts, which really annoy people. And yeah, I definitely recommend those 3 operators: Bandit, Jaeger, and Valkyrie. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is attacker's mentality. So the reason why mentality is so important, because I see a lot of people getting like super scared of solo queuing because they don't really get the information, they don't know what to do and all that stuff. But that is very easy to solve because every operator in the game obviously has a job to do. So once you guys are done with your job, you guys are pretty much free to die. Like, you guys can go for more riskier plays, you guys can do things that will you know, get you frags. But first, you guys should 100% go for those like main breaches, or you just do your job first, and after that you guys can do you guys can go for the frags, you guys can go for the risky plays. So for example, if you're playing Thermite, you will obviously want to open up the wall, the main wall first, or whatever you want to open up to really distract the other team and to get them uncomfortable. So another example would be Buck. So with Buck, you obviously have to go for vertical gameplay. So you're either going to open up the floor or the ceiling and try to really distract the players with your holds so they can't rotate as much. With Hibana, you're gonna open up the hatches, breach the walls, open up the wall, and all of that stuff. And trust me, people will know what they have to do. Most of the people already know what their jobs will be if they play a certain operator. People that play, you know, Twitch, IQ, Ash, see Sledge, and all those types of operators, Zofia, they will most likely just do their own thing and try to go for frags. So if someone plays Thermite, they 100% know what they're going to do. If you're playing a Thermite, you 100% have the job to open up the wall. There's no excuse for you to run in first and die first. For Thatcher, you're gonna have to help Thermite to open up the wall. There's pretty much I don't think there's any excuse, especially in higher ranks. People just do it. They don't really, you know, do stuff that doesn't really involve their job if they have those certain operators. So let's talk about defender. So with a defender, you're obviously are going to be a roamer, an objective player, or you're going to be a mix of both. So what I mean by that, if you guys are, for example, playing a Valkyrie. Valkyrie usually is a roamer, but she comes back after a while. Since she has a C4, she can deny a plant, and she can do all of that good stuff. And on the other hand, you also have a Jaeger. A Jaeger goes out and roams for the whole time. He just wastes time. He barely comes back to objective. He comes back to objective, great, but you're just wasting time with the Jaeger. Also with the Vigil, Caveira, and all those guys, you guys are just going to try to waste as much time as possible, and that should be your end goal. But then you also have the objective players. You call them anchors. So what you, for example, anchors are Doc, Rook, then we have Echo, but we already said Echo, you shouldn't play him. Okay, so for those operators, you guys are just gonna try to stay alive in the objective, because trust me, there's nothing worse than having people die in the objective and just having to rush back. So you guys are gonna sit back, try to hold tight angles, and try not to get picked off, because once someone dies in objective, the other team will recognize that, and it will start ignoring the roamers and will go for the objective. And once they rush the objective with like 4 people in a row and there's only 1 person on site, it's over. Like, you guys are pretty much going to die. But you guys are also gonna have to weigh the situation out. So if you guys have too many roamers, so if you guys, okay, one guy plays Jaeger, one guy plays Vigil, and the other guy plays Caveira, obviously you guys don't want to play Pulse to go also roaming with them. You guys are gonna want to play an operator, for example, like Smoke, Doc, Mute, to really try to hold down the objective, because once you guys have more than 3 roamers, people will start just rushing the objective, and you guys will lose every single game if you guys have more than 3 roamers. So the max should 100% be 3 roamers, and you guys should weigh it out. Like, you guys have to tell by yourself, because if you guys are like, I'm a roamer main, I can't play anything else except the roaming, well, then you're just being silly, and you guys are most likely gonna lose every single game. So weigh out the situation. If there's too many roamers in your team, stay in objective. If there are too many players in objective, go roam. There should never be more than 4 players on objective. If there are more than 4 players on objective in most objectives, like on most maps, then you guys are most likely just gonna get picked off one by one, because it's not possible to have 5 players in the objective just sitting down and holding up like corners. That's just not gonna work, dude. So be sure to weigh out the situation. You guys are pretty much good for the entire round. So last but not least, we are going to be talking about strats and getting kills. So this is probably the most important part, because when you're solo queuing, you obviously want to go for, you know, those frags and to really get your team up there. Because I mean, doing your job is very important, trust me, but getting those frags is also very important, because once people start doing their job, people will rotate around and you can get those easy kills when you're playing a frag operator. So the way you guys are going to get those easy kills is first drone your first couple of rooms so you guys can push in and get control of those rooms. Once you guys are pretty close to the objective, but not too close, so the other team knows where you are, so you guys are going to push up and just hold rotations. So you know, those players that rotate out of the objective or are rotating back to the objective, or even the guys that are just roaming around, they are always rotating. And trust me, when you guys are gonna play the game more and more, you guys will start to know where people will rotate a lot more, so you guys can do your own little strats for every single map when you're attacking. So you guys can just push in, run in a certain corner and just hold an angle. And once you guys are holding that angle, people will start coming, you know, running around. But don't hold that angle for too long, because there are obviously times where you are not going to get those lucky rotations and all that. Then it's time to rotate. Always change it around. Be sure to know, don't hold an angle for longer than 30 seconds. Even 20 seconds is too long. Like, just hold it. If no one's rotating, drone again, push up, hold an angle, and that's how you guys are going to get most of your kills. Once your team starts to get frags, people will get more nervous, they will rotate around, and that's how you guys are going to get your frags, and everything will work together. And trust me, you guys are going to get your kills very easily. So yeah, that's for attackers, but for defenders it's a different story. For defenders, let's say you guys are a roamer, you guys are gonna go out and obviously waste as much time as possible. But one thing that I would recommend, if they don't drone you, be aggressive. Try to let them know that you're there, but don't just shoot random bullets at random walls so they can hear you. No. So if they don't know that you're roaming, try to sneak up on them, get one frag, maybe even two, and run off, because then they get nervous. They will start getting nervous and they will push you instead of the objective. And trust me, if you waste more than 1.5 or even 2 minutes in a round, that will be a huge advantage to your team, and you guys are most likely going to win that round. But the objective players, the anchors that are playing in objective, they're gonna have a different role, because those guys are gonna hold tight pixel peaks, try to get those people that are peeking them, because once people start peeking you, you guys can get those easy frags from objective, because they are peeking you and they have to cover way more angles than you have to do, because if you're just aiming out of the window. But one thing that you guys do have to know is don't over peek, don't overdo it, because people will start pre-aiming angles because they know, okay, this guy's peeking a lot, I'll pre-aim this angle and this guy will most likely peek me. So if you guys know that a guy is holding an angle on you, don't peek him. You guys are an objective, you guys are safe, you're wasting their time. Trust me, time is on your side, time is your friend. You guys have to waste as much time as possible and make them rush in the last couple of seconds, because if they rush in the last couple of seconds, Ella traps, frost traps, legion trap, everything will start going off, and those guys are gonna have so much trouble, especially nowadays, to really get into that objective and try to get that kill on you. Especially if they're stunned or anything like that, they will have so much trouble. Even if they're stuck in barbed wire, you're gonna have the advantage on them, because their movement is gonna be so slow and you guys are most likely gonna get that kill. Okay, since we're at the end of the video, I'm gonna ask you guys the 2 questions now. So the first question is going to be, which of these operators here is most suited for this lineup right here? And the correct answer is Smoke. So the reason why Smoke is the best option right here is because we obviously already have a roamer, we have 2 mixed players, which is Valkyrie and Pulse, and we have a Rook with an ACOG. So we need another objective player. So we can either pick A or C, which is Doc or Smoke. But we already have an ACOG, so we don't really need another one. That would be way too overkill. And Smoke is just one of the best objective operators, and he probably outshines every single ACOG player in this entire game. So Smoke is definitely the best option for this lineup right here. Alright, I want to give you guys one more bonus tip, which is weighing out your odds. So if the odds are against you, don't do something risky. If the odds are on your side, do something risky. I put this at the end because once you guys get game sense, once you guys understand the game way more, you guys are gonna know when the odds are on your side or against you. But you guys will already know since like from the beginning on, when like once you say like, oh my god, I probably shouldn't be doing this, don't do it. And yeah, so that's the only thing I wanted to tell you guys. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys watched the whole thing, type in exclamation mark and just to let me know, because I'm kind of curious how many people watch this thing all the way through. So if you guys did enjoy it, please like and subscribe. I would very much appreciate it. And yeah, that's gonna be it from me. So have a beautiful day, night, evening, whatever it is for you guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.